What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioWest 3 Raw TV. First of all, let's fix this fucking camera angle, make that shit. Put that phone down square. Alright, now guys, listen. Tonight we're going to talk about something that this kind of, I'm actually happy to bring you this information. And it's not that I'm happy to bring the information because I'm the first to bring it to you, but a lot of the stuff I talk about, a lot of people give me shit about. They talk a lot about shit and they tell me how fucking stupid I am and blah, blah, blah. There's no science to back it up. Science says something the opposite that I say, fucking blah, blah, blah. Anyways, this guy, the muscle PhD, his name is Jacob, what is his first name? Jacob Wilson. Dr. Jacob Wilson has posted a couple things this week that basically, we're going to talk about one right now. We're talking about two, but this video is going to be just one. Now, this subject that he's talking about technically proves what I have been saying all along about not all macros being created equal, about not all calories being created equal, and the fact that there's different effects of the body with different calories, okay? There's absolutely difference. Now, science, in this case, is proving that. Now, let me walk you guys through this because, I'm like I said, I'm super excited because there is a scientific explanation for the shit that I talk about. It just really hasn't been brought to the forefront yet. But just because it hasn't, it gives people ammo to make fun of me and talk shit about me, saying how stupid I am, and the things that I've actually seen happen in the gym, things that I've seen happen with my clients, and I've had thousands of clients throughout the years in a 28-year time span that it gets frustrating because I'm like, but I saw this happen. Like, Jerry, sorry, it's impossible because science says, and I'm like, but this happened. Nope, Jerry, it's impossible. Like, but this fucking happened. Like, if I'm like, straight up, like, these are eye drops, by the way, guys. These Lumify drops, I don't know if you guys know what Lumify is. It's like a new company. These things make your eyes like fucking white as paper. Like, anyway, but anyways, bottom line, if I'm like, these things make your eyes white, right? Super white. And you're like, well, Jerry, there's no studies that say that they make it super white. But they make your eyes super white. And you're like, but Jerry, but then later on, like 20 people use it. They all get together and they tell somebody about it. Next thing they do a study of 1,000 people. All of their eyes get super white. And I'm like, by the way, I said that 10 years ago. Like, Jerry, that's not the same thing as what you said. Yes, it is. But fucking, I feel like people just don't want to give me credit for whatever reason it is, and it's not about credit, it's about getting information out there. So fuck it, I don't need the credit, but you guys need the information. So the Muscle PhD put out a post about high protein diets. Now, what is so great about high protein diets that we already don't know? This is the awesome part. So remember, all packed calories are not created equal, right? All macros are not created equal. It's not about just calories. So this study, right, and the study was done by Antonio J. Eller, so a bunch of scientists, and it is from 2015, a high-protein diet combined with heavy resistance training program improves body composition, healthy trained men and women, a follow-up investigation in the Journal of International Sports Nutrition. If you go to the Muscle PhD on his Instagram, you'll find this. So, study compared the typical bodybuilder's diet, 1 gram per pound of protein, 1 gram per pound of protein, 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein. It's written a little weird right here, but anyways, with a diet even higher in protein, 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. Both groups underwent an 8-week training program and had similar gains in muscle mass. However, the high protein group lost significantly more fat mass while taking in 400 to 500 more calories per day. Listen to what this study says. The Journal of International Sports Nutrition, Society of Sports Nutrition. The high protein group lost significantly more fat mass even while taking in about 400 to 500 more calories per day. Similar studies have been performed with less intense training protocols and didn't get as significant results. The takeaway is that if you have to eat high protein diet and train incredibly hard to reduce body fat and build muscle at the same time, this is not newbies, okay? These are trained individuals. 8 weeks, they were able to increase muscle mass and lose fat at the same time. Now, what's even more interesting is the diet of 1 gram per pound of body weight, okay? 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That diet alone in that study, well, in that 8 weeks of that study, those individuals lost body fat and gained muscle just by training intensely. Now, what the fuck did I say? I said that there's never been a study on bodybuilders training as hard as they are or as hard as they do with the type of nutrition that they have in the manipulation of the macros that they do. That is not what the normal public does. It's not what science normally looks at. It's not what the general person or scientist looks at. So here we have something geared more towards bodybuilders, right? And they found that the diet in 1 gram per pound of body weight produced muscle gains and fat loss. But if you increase that one macronutrient, which increased the caloric content of that day, of that diet, they lost more body fat and gained muscle at the same time. So they lost more body fat, which if you listen to the Calories In, Calories Out crew, they'll say that you can't lose body fat unless you're in a deficit. Now, these people were in, let's say they're in a deficit, right? This was less of a deficit because it was 400 to 500 calories more, but they lost more body fat. So the Calories In, Calories Out crew, the only thing they would have to say is like, if you were in more of a caloric, less of a caloric deficit because you're eating more calories, then you're going to lose less body fat. But these people lost more body fat on higher calories. How do you explain that? All the wing nuts, all the fucking science people, all the people out there that say it's not possible past your newbie gains, this study, which is just one of many, which it cites right inside the article, this study proves that not only can you gain muscle and lose body fat at the same time, but you can eat slightly higher calories and still lose more body fat if those calories, aka macros, come from the right place. What the fuck? This is a doctor talking about this. This is scientists that have done this, that have published this in 2015. So it's not like it came out yesterday. It's 2015 this was done. 2014, 2012 was when I was talking about this, but I've talked about it through the whole time, all the way up till now. So 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 4 years has gone by of me saying that this happens, and I've done this with my clients. And 99% of the people out there that are in the non-macros and just into the calories and deficits and surplus and all this bullshit have made fun of me. They have said it's a fucking lie. They've called me a fucking quack. They've called me stupid. They've called me an asshole. They've called me a bro. They've called me all these names. But scientists, which these wing nuts worship, they worship the ground they fucking walk on, they can do no wrong. Scientists and doctors, they look at them as the be-all end-all. They're the ones doing the studies. And an actual published study in 2015 that looked at other studies as well that had similar results in 2015, it was out there. That information was out there. What I was saying was true. What I am saying is true. And there's scientific literature to back it up. But now, of course, everybody's going to try to nitpick that and take it apart. But you can't. There's no way to pull this fucking thing apart. The study was done with exactly the fucking same guidelines as you would do. These wing nuts would do studies themselves. But now they're going to have to eat crow and say, wait a minute, like this came out and said that this happens like this. How is this possible? Well, go back to the study and start paying attention. You'll figure it out. And I've already talked about how metabolism can change. And by the way that this study works, and I'm going to speak about it very bro-like because I'm not a scientist and I'm not a fucking doctor. I am basically a bro because I don't have a PhD behind my name, so technically it doesn't make me an idiot, but it also doesn't make me a scientist. So I'm going to talk about it like a bro because I am a bro. So essentially, if you increase the protein in your diet from 1 grams to 1.5 grams, okay, which took place in this study, and you train extremely hard, that's part of the whole thing that works, right? The extreme hard training that triggers the growth response. You feed it. These individuals had more protein to maintain or increase muscle mass at a different rate. The increased muscle mass with the higher amounts of protein caused a higher metabolism. The more metabolically active tissue you have, aka muscle mass, the faster your metabolism is. So now what you have is the point where technically they weren't really trying to lose fat. They were trying to gain muscle by using a high protein diet. But the group that actually had more protein that gained more muscle had a higher degree of muscle mass, therefore burnt more calories throughout the day, even though they ate more calories and lost more body fat than the lower group. Lo and behold, here we have what I've been saying for so fucking long that I've been able to... Let's just back up for a second. Let's say I was saying this shit and I had no way to back it up. And I had no proof, no nothing, right? I just had some weird shit that I was talking about. I myself have done it on camera. I've done it over and over again on camera to show you guys. I have clients that do it over and over again. I've explained how it works. I've explained how we do it. And still, without a study or a doctor saying it's possible, people still dogged me and made fun of me. This is not the first time this shit's happened. The keto thing, the BCAAs thing. I mean, there's multiple things. The coconut oil thing, the fucking basketball is not cardio thing. The things that people destroyed me for because they just didn't understand what I was talking about. Because as little as I know scientifically, logically, I'm thinking on a different level than a lot of people because I've seen things in 28 years that the person that's only been doing this for 5 years hasn't seen. If somebody's been doing what I do for 5 years and they're only going by studies and doctors and only knowing what they're told, basically what they're brainwashed to know and not really learning themselves, they got knowledge but not wisdom, then they're never going to think like I do. I think completely differently because back in the day, we had to find a way to make it work. We didn't have all the information at our fingertips like everybody has now. So I had to find a way to make shit work. I had to find a way to make my clients' bodies respond. I had to find these ways by manipulating 3 macros, the training, and the cardio. That's what I had to work with, those 5 things. And out of those 5 things, I found combinations for each and every person, including myself, to make them gain muscle, lose fat at a faster fucking rate, and be able to replicate it over and over again without fail. So basically, if you sat down with any scientist and said, this individual took 5 variables, took various individuals, like thousands of individuals over a course of time of 28 years, which is longer than fucking most of these studies, 8 weeks. And they were able to replicate this over and over again. Any fucking scientist or doctor would be like, really? Interesting. And they would think about it and they would go, well, I think it's working like this. This aspect works like this, which triggers this response. They would be able to sit down and explain to you how it worked without there even being a fucking study because they actually understand. The people arguing with me don't actually understand. They regurgitate. That's not the same thing as having true knowledge and wisdom. Being able to recite something that you read, like when I read this, I'm reciting it to you, but I'm explaining to you how this works because I truly know how this actually happens in the human body over and over again because I had to figure it out. And once I figured it out and was able to replicate it, I understood this is how this fucking works. And I pass it along to you, not to try to make anybody look stupid, not try to make myself look good, but to try to fucking help you. Video after video, 2,000 plus videos I've given you guys that fucking to try to help. And, you know, don't get me wrong, I'd say 95% of you guys are on point. You get it. You want the information. You don't give a fuck whether there's a study. You don't care what doctor fucking said what. You don't give a shit. All you give a shit is about your goals. And that's the way it should be. Not about what this doctor said, what that scientist said. That shit's cool. But what if they said 2 different things and there's a third thing that works better and you found that? You're going to give it up because those 2 fucking, the doctor and scientist said something? Fuck no, you're not. That makes you a bro. And in the fitness industry, becoming a bro a few years ago was like a terrible thing. Nobody wanted to be labeled a bro. Me, I don't give a fuck. Call me a bro. Call me a fucking anti-science. Call me a fucking idiot. Call me whatever you want. But bottom line is I'm going to be getting results. Bottom line is I'm going to be looking for new ways. Bottom line is I'm going to be experimenting and searching to learn everything I fucking can about my physique, my client's physique, and anything else out there that I can about how these macros work with the body and micros too. And I'm not going to fucking rest until I'm fucking dead. That's all there is to it. There's a lot of people out there that don't look that far. They go, oh, well, a study said this, and they stop there. Well, how about, like study-wise, let's take the study out of it. Let's just look at the actual science of it. If you can increase muscle mass, you can increase your resting metabolism. If you can increase muscle mass, you have more metabolically active tissue. If you have more metabolically active tissue, and technically you're eating only those calories that you're taking in, those extra calories, the 400 calories from protein, then more than likely, those are going to be used for building muscle, helping repair what other tissues are needed in your body. Some of it may be used for energy if you're eating too much. But what happens is whatever is left over, it's not going to all of a sudden turn to fat. You're still technically in a deficit because your muscle mass is higher and there technically winds up being nothing left over. Matter of fact, you wind up being in this type of deficit even by eating the extra protein because of the muscle mass and the thermic effect of that protein. Like you're not getting it. Like the body can make energy from that protein too if it needs it. And next thing you know, you're still in a deficit. But because you're a larger individual muscle mass wise now, you now burn more calories at rest, which means you burn more body fat than the group of people that only took 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. I mean, it's not really that hard to figure out when you look at it like that. But what happens is people go, well, Jerry's saying is technically, we don't really know because there hasn't been a study. Well, what I just said is true. And this study backs up exactly what the fuck I said. So now the whole thing is encompassed within science to say there's a scientific explanation that says not all calories are recreated equal. You don't have to be in a deficit to gain muscle, which I've already fucking talked about that. You also don't need to be in a surplus to necessarily gain muscle, but also you're going to lose fat not being in a deficit. You can do that also. You can be at your maintenance and lose fat at your maintenance if you're increasing muscle mass. What a fucking concept. These are things that bodybuilders have known for fucking decades that science is catching up to because they didn't give a fuck. But now they're kind of catching up to it here and there. But just because I said it before and it doesn't have a study to back it up doesn't mean it's not true. You guys that have been pushing this away long enough, trying to prove that you're smarter than everyone else, that you're cooler than everyone else, that you have a fucking PhD or you only listen to the science people, have been robbing yourselves of results because you don't believe it happens. Rather than actually going, what the fuck, I could take 8 weeks, do this, and they're saying this happens, but there hasn't been a study. Let me just try that for 8 weeks. You'd be fucking shocked. It's one of those things where you don't know until you try. And either you fail or you succeed. But what if? Just what if? What if what you try hasn't been proven by science yet, but what if it succeeds? What if you found a new way that succeeds and you can replicate it over and over again? Would you not want that? Or would you just completely dismiss it and say, I don't fucking care because there's no studies. I'll wait till a study comes out and then I'll do it. Motherfucker, if you had that key 5 years before that study came out that you could be getting better gains and helping your clients and friends, and you left it fucking because it didn't have a PhD backing it up, you're a fucking asshole. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below. So fight. BioStrength.com is the blog. It's the fucking science caught up bicep, and we are out.